Okay, so I'm in the process now of removing the intake manifold. Hi, Big Daddy. I removed the intake manifold from the L28ET. I've already moved the injectors to get a little bit of room, get everything out of the way, and I'm going to loosen the manifold bolts that are shared in common. That is, there's a set of bolts that's used to attach both the exhaust and the intake. Just loosen those and remove the intake only bolts. Then I can remove the intake manifold first. Once that's off, the exhaust manifold is a little bit easier to get off. So let's just proceed, and I'll try to get some action for you here. I'll try not to get in the way too much of my own work. Try not to knock the camera down, try not to cause a catastrophe. Let me see if I can zoom in on what I'm doing here. Okay, so we're going after these bolts right here. I've already got this one completely loose. I'm starting this with a box wrench because it's easier to get the socket in there and get the right kind of torque to it. Loosen this one up. So far everything's coming out. No broken bolts. Everything's looking good. But these have to come out completely. You know, they actually hold the thing on. They're not just clamping, but they're actually through holes on the intake manifold. And if these are stuck, what you do is just take this box, you take what I did to get that loose. They were, kind of tight. Put a wrench on it, get a little tap, 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 like a little impromptu impact rifle. Let's get all these out. Make sure you keep the washers with them. Don't lose that. I've already vacuumed out the valley in there because had some leaves, other junk. Don't want to get that down anymore. You have to. Try to keep the junk out of the engine. Get a slight leak down on the floor of oil. That's oil coming out from underneath the loose valve cover. I don't have it on there very tight. So I've got these 14 mils. They're what's used to hold on the top side of the intake manifold. And like I said, the other side of the intake manifold is clamped on, not through hole, but clamped. And you should be able to just loosen those bolts, just kind of lift it this way, and the whole shooting mat should come off. And I'm doing that because there's 3 bolts on this on the exhaust manifold that are through holes. In other words, they don't just clamp; they're actually through hole through the exhaust manifold only, and you can't really get to them easily with the intake manifold in place. So we're going to remove it. Now I'm debating about turning the engine, rotating it back up so I'm not going sideways but kind of up and over. Tell you what, let me just confirm that I've got all the nuts loose here. I'll try to show you what I'm looking for here. You can see I'm trying to highlight just the one of the nuts that's used in there. Right there. See that? That's one of those clamp type. They clamp both the exhaust and the intake. So I have to make sure I've got all those loosened up. I don't know if I don't know if it's worth trying to get over here. Try to show that action. So to get that, what I do is I have, those are all 12 mils, and I just use a long socket with a Warble adapter to it, because some of those are in that kind of oddball angle. So I'm going to use a long extension, a wobble drive, whatever you want to call it, and make sure these are indeed loose. So I'll do the best I can. Make sure okay, this one's broken, then I have one here, and I think that one's good and loose. Yeah, he's good and loose. Like I said, you don't have to take them out, just make sure they're loose. That one's loose. That one's loose. The next ones don't clamp the intake manifold, they only attach the exhaust. So I'll start them over this side now. That one's off, so it's plenty loose. Just gotta make sure I'm getting on it. what I'm doing is I'm peering down inside to make sure that that bit is getting on the actual head of the nut that I'm trying to check. Okay, I can see that one's backed out. The next two are backed out, backed out, backed out. Love that one. I don't know if that's part of the clamp. I think we might have them all. All right, well, I'm going to assume I've got them all loose. We'll know soon enough if this intake manifold wants to come off or not. Yep, I think it's loose. So make sure, let me see what I've got. Oh, okay. A couple things I already forgot. Remember I talked about that PVC pipe? Gotta disconnect that. It'll hold the engine. It'll hold the intake manifold to the engine. That would be this pipe right here. This long one here. So that's got to go. Let's see what we can do about getting that off. Hopefully it won't fight too much. It's amazing. Some of the hardest parts of disassembling an engine, especially, you know, this old, it's hard to believe. It's the rubber parts, because they don't want to play nice. You know, they've been on a long time. The rubber's gotten hard. It doesn't want to release. So you can really fight this and get that clamp off. That clamp does not want to come off. Come on. What's that? Oh, ram the nut. Okay, well I was probably looking for that. I'll save it. I think I know where that goes. I think that was one of the nuts that was holding on the fuel. I'll say that out loud so I remember. It's actually attaching the fuel pressure regulator. I noticed I was missing one, and I'll bet you that was it. So I'm going to try to preserve this PVC hose. I don't want to destroy this, getting it out. I don't know if it's that special, but I think sometimes they can be hard to find replacements for that. You know, it's a special kind of hose, or shape, or it's form, or whatever. So we're going to really try to work to get this one out. The first thing I did, I got to get this clamp completely out of here. It looks like it's just not going to release. It's kind of like glued itself to the hose. It doesn't want to rotate or anything. Now, clamps I don't mind destroying too much because I have a lot of those. A lot of OE clamps too. But he really doesn't want to come out. So I'm going to have to take this clamp completely apart and get this hose, this thing out here so you maybe see what's going on. I'm just going to take the clamp completely off. These are not like your typical, you know, screw clamps. They have like a slots in and all that. Okay, here we go. Man, where are you? Still not putting to let go. Man, I think it's like glued on there. Come on. That's like I said, you can just, there we go, got it. Okay, so the clamp came loose. I'm gonna try to put the screw back in and keep it all together. That's important. The more you can keep stuff together, the less hassle it is to put it back, you know, after the disassembly process. At some point, your plan should be put things back together, right? That's the whole idea here. So keep the hardware together as much as you can, and it'll make your life a little easier. Now this thing's fighting me, so I'm gonna have to just try not to lose anything. Let's see if I can just take this whole thing out without losing too much. Yeah, come on out, clamp. Come on out, clamp. Oh well, there you go. That's what happens. So, anyway, trying to salvage that clamp. That part fell down there. It's on the ground somewhere. Hopefully it didn't go into any open ports. Do I see it on the ground anywhere? Well, I'll tell you what. Well, it's too late now. I think it's unlikely that it could have been so good a shot to have gotten that to go into a fuel injection port, so we're going to hope it didn't. And now we're back to trying to get that clamp that hose off. I can't seem to locate my pick right off the bat. Usually I get a pick and kind of work my way around there. So instead, I'm just going to grab the hose itself and see if I can't twist it a little bit. There we go. Okay, that ought to do it. So we got the PVC pipe loosened up. Right, here's what I've been working on, this thing. Okay, you're off. That's good. Okay, that's off. What else did I say? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've got to get this oil pipe. Here, let me show you. Remember this? This feeds the turbo and is attached. Well, one of them is already off here, but this one's not. That looks like a 12 mil. It's attached to the EGR valve. That could get dicey. Sometimes they don't like to let go. So let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can get that thing to come loose without any. I guess so far this thing's been pretty cooperative about parts just letting go. There you go. Perfect. Okay. And another win. Keep those right handy. And let's see if we can lift this up. Okay, good. Okay, so I can see what's going to happen. This thing's going to continue to fight me every step of the way. That should spin or no? No, it's like it's welded to that to that line, so that's not going to spin off. That's going to be a pain in the rear, I can tell you that right now. It's not wanting to let go. Okay, well, I got that nut and washer for the EGR. I can't get it back on because the thing's kind of. What I'm hoping is once maybe the smart thing to do here is just go ahead and see if I can remove that banjo bolt. Okay, so I don't want to fight this pipe and possibly damage it. So as you can see, there is a banjo bolt right here that drives that thing. So I'm going to see if I have any chance at all of getting that banjo bolt out. I think it's going to be kind of a long shot, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. Hope that's in the frame. I think it is. And that looks like probably, I don't know, maybe a 17. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got to do it. 15, 17, I don't know. Let's see. It's bigger than a 17. I think it's bigger than a 17. I'm trying to use these special kind of, probably maybe it's a 19. Or it could be some kind of weirdo size too, you know. Ay. Oh hell, I don't have to. Never mind. Being dumb. Let's try a 16, 17. No, it's definitely bigger than that. Is it possibly a 20? Heck no. 19? Can't be a 19. No. 18? 18's kind of a weird size. I don't know if I have that. Wouldn't that be a bummer? Everything stops. I'm going to pause and see if I can find an 18 so you don't sit there and listen to me ramble. Hold on. Stay with me for a little bit here. If I can just hit pause.
Nope. How the hell do you pause this thing? Huh.